Good morning, everyone. It is so wonderful to be back doing deep listening with you all again. We took a little hiatus and I wasn't able to be on our very first session back on Tuesday, but I am today, and it is a day I've been waiting for quite some time. My name is Hareen Koshak. I am the cellist of Fifth House Ensemble, and Fifth House Ensemble is hosting deep listening sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, now on YouTube. We used to be on Facebook Live, and we are just so delighted to continue this practice that meant so much to us when we were in really proper lockdown. We don't really know what the future may hold for us here in these uncertain, ever evolving times, but we are just so excited to still continue this practice with everyone in a digital space on Tuesdays and Thursdays, now at 9:30. I would like to take a second to thank our wonderful mentors, Brian and Leila Pertl, who are at Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin. They are the ones who first really got us excited about deep listening and made us realize the incredibly broad applications that deep listening can have in our lives, not only as people, but also as musicians, having a chance to just explore sound together in lots of fun and unexpected ways with everyone we come across. And I would also love to thank the Center for Deep Listening and Research at Rensselaer Polytech for making this possible. Now I'd like to turn it over to some of my wonderful colleagues and our cohort that we've sort of developed during this time. We have, first of all, the wonderful Karen Lemke, who's joining us from Milwaukee. Hi, Karen, how are you today? Oh, sorry, there you go. I put you on the spot. I would like to introduce our new violinist, Kelsey Zaraga, who I'm pretty sure, oh, Kelsey didn't get to introduce herself the other day because she was on Deep Listening at NBJ with me on Tuesday. So Kelsey, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Zaraga. As Fareen said, I'm the new violinist for Fifth House Ensemble. I'm super delighted to join the group and to join these deep listening sessions. So happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you. And also new to our ensemble is Mason Spencer, who plays the viola. Mason, I know you got to be on the session Tuesday, but if you have a couple words about where you came from before you moved to Chicago, that would be fabulous.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mason. Like Hareen said, I just joined the group on viola. I just moved from Indiana, where I finished grad school at IU.
Hooray! We have a lot of IU grads here now. I myself being one as well, and also Kelsey. Great, and then we have Grace. Go ahead, Grace.
Hello, I know we were here on Tuesday, but I am Grace, the oboist of Fifth House Ensemble, and we are super great to see everyone in this virtual world that we lived in for a long time last year and this year. And it's just so good to have this opportunity again to share our deep listening sessions with all of you.
And finally, Alessandro, who had a birthday yesterday, making him still the oldest person in our group. Sorry, Alessandro, but I am the second oldest.
I'm still alive. But yeah, I'm Lisandro, clarinetist with Fifth House, and very happy to be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays because we love this practice of deep listening. It has changed the way we relate to sound and the way we interact with sound with each other, and it's a wonderful way to improvise and just kind of step out of the box and think a little more freely about sound. Yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you for that introduction. That's great. Yes, our sort of patron saint in deep listening practice is Pauline Oliveros. Pauline Oliveros is an amazing composer who pioneered this movement, believing that all sound is music and all people are musical. And so during this half hour twice a week, we explore text scores, which are musical scores that are basically just written forms of instruction, little succinct ways of engaging with sound. And I'm going to kind of leave it at that for now. The first thing we're going to do today is do a little bit of body warm up just to get ourselves kind of opened up and receptive and aware. That's hard to do when we're sitting in front of a computer a lot. So we're going to start today with a little exercise that I always love. It's 2 hands pushed to heaven. So go ahead and feel free to stand and give yourself a second to kind of shake out a little bit. That's always nice to do. I had my original sound on, but it is off, so I'm going to turn it on again. Here we go. Okay. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start, I'm going to back up just a tiny bit here. I'm going to start with our hands just a little below our navel, down here. And you can have your feet about shoulder width apart. I'm still a little not as far away as I'd like to be. You'd think we'd be experts at setting ourselves up, but you know, there's lots of things to think about before we get ready. All right, so we're gonna start here. I want you to just take a second and take some deep breaths in through your nose. Out through your mouth. And let that breathing become audible. And feel your feet sort of planted in the ground. Just enjoy that contact that your feet have with the ground, the floor underneath you. And now with your hands below your navel, you're going to interlock your fingers if you like, if this is a comfortable position for you. And you're going to slowly bring those hands up. And when they get to about your neck, you can invert them. So now your palms are facing out. If that's comfortable for you. Some people don't like how this feels, so you can keep your hands separate too. But there's a nice stretch that can happen in your arms here and your wrists. And then you keep going all the way to the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. You can feel your navel contracting in towards your spine. Keep thinking about your breathing. See if you can find a cycle that feels good with your breathing, and then slowly bring your hands down again. When you get to your neck, you bring your hands in, so you flip them back towards your chest, and you come all the way back down again. And we're going to do that again. And then with the breathing, again, just find a cycle that works for you. I'm not going to be too prescriptive here. We'll do one more of these. Actually, we're going to do 2 more of these. And feel free to look at where the other folks are on the screen, how quickly they're doing the movement. You can just take that in. You don't have to adjust anything you're doing. If you like how it feels, sort of just keep an eye on a little ballet that's kind of taking place on our screen. Now this last one, you can spread your fingers out and bring your arms slowly to your side. Feel any nice little stretches that you have the opportunity to have in your biceps or your deltoids or your wrists as you're coming down. Great. Feel free to take a little shake there. And then let's take a second and contemplate how we are in this space today. What do you bring into this space today? If you want to think of a word, is it openness? Is it stress? Is it tension? Is it playfulness? Any word at all that you feel kind of encapsulates where you are at this moment in your day. And if you can, think of a movement that represents that. And go ahead, and when you're ready, do that movement and then loop it. That movement that represents the way you're feeling today, that you're bringing into this space. And once you've had a chance to observe some other movements, feel free to add someone else's movement that you might feel inspired by. Add that to your loop. So now you've got two things that you're looping. Maybe add one more. I don't know if you all heard that, but my knee just popped. I'm getting so old. And my other knee popped. I don't know how sensitive my microphones are, but I just thought I should share that with you all. And bring that back down to two movements. And down to one movement, down to your original movement. Unless you like somebody else's more and you want to stick with one of the other ones. All right. Great, let's have a seat. So those are some oldies but goodies, but also new maybe for a couple of folks. I'd love to hear how all of that felt.
I always enjoy the stretching part, being a part of deep listening.
Yeah, it's so important, and it brings so much to the next parts of what we do. I agree.
And the focus on breathing too. I like that. It's calming and part of oxygenating and preparing mentally to be ready.
Yeah, thank you. Other thoughts? Yes, Kelsey, go ahead.
I really liked adding in other people's movements, kind of seeing where other people's bodies were at and how that affected my own body. It was really helpful and it felt good, really good too.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm wondering, obviously we didn't share like what each movement meant to each person. So, like somebody else's was subject to your own interpretation. And I'm wondering if anyone has any comments on like, oh, when I took this movement, I assumed that it meant this, or if there wasn't as much focus on that in terms of the way I instructed, but I'm curious if anyone picked up or was influenced by the meaning, the possible meaning behind somebody's movement.
So my movement was I was taking in, and I noticed Hurricane started going opposite way, spreading. So I don't know what your intention or what was the word that you were referring to when you were doing this movement, but I thought it was just a nice addition to my inward motion. So
That's fascinating. Yeah, mine was actually openness. And so even it's such a subtle difference, and if you're watching a whole bunch of people doing something similar, it's hard to tell where they are in the cycle unless you really focus in. So you just see these arms kind of going like that. That's really cool that
it's
the movement
cool
is so
that,
subtly similar.
yes. Now you just said it, the openness, because that was my word too.
Oh.
But I was more of openness, so I can take
Yeah.
all into me. I wanted to get everyone's energy into mine. So that was the openness of me. So it's
I love it.
yeah.
I really like that. That's so cool. And
Yeah, I had a lot of the movements I like are flowing movements because my word was space, so occupying the space and kind of like moving big gestures. But then I saw Kelsey and Karen doing this shorter thing. It's like I need that so badly now, so I started doing that. It really helped. And yeah, and Karen's movement was kind of an extension of Kelsey's. She used her whole arm. So yeah, I kind of went that direction.
yeah, I agree with you. I did that movement too, mostly just because it looked cool and fun. And I actually didn't put a lot of thought into like what it meant, which is okay. It's totally fine. Great. Thanks. All right, we're gonna move into a score by Pauline. I was gonna do this. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do this one. This is a fun one, which I don't remember honestly if we've ever done this. We've probably done some version of it, but I think that one of the reasons we may not have ever done this one is because no one knows how to pronounce it. Triskaidekaphonia. Triskaidekaphonia, big old Greek word. And I actually had to look it up. I was like, I can go pull this all apart if I want, or I can just go use the wiki machine. And it's an absurdly exaggerated fear of the number 13. That is what that means. And I think Parker is throwing it in the chat for us. Okay, he's got the Google Doc. Perfect. Thank you. I will also have it out there, but so this score is, I would like to do it first, and if we have time, we might do it one more time. I'd like to do it with found objects first. So Pauline, being so witty and enjoying puns and whatnot, she wrote 13 points for improvised music. So extreme fear of the number 13, but there are 13 specific instructions for this score. So we're just going to sink into them. Phonia. Oh my gosh. Karen. I looked too quickly. I thought it was very funny. Well, this could be a new interpretation then. Phonia. Phobia. Yes, I know that you're absolutely right. Phobia is, and I think phobia came up instead of phonia. I appreciate you correcting me here. Awesome. So therefore, 13 sounds, not fear. But you know what? I bet Pauline would be laughing and smiling about everybody being terrified of making 13 sounds anyway. So there we are. I love it. This is how we learn, and this is how we enjoy scores by Pauline. Great. So we're going to listen to 13 sounds we're going to, in the process, listen for beginnings, listen for endings, listen for alternatives, decide to play, blend with a partner, join the whole group, make an opening, oppose a dynamic, play dynamically, vary your tempos, vary your timbres, wait, and go for it. Those are our 13 instructions, and folks in the Zoom can link to the Google Doc if you'd like, and folks out in YouTube can join us. Let's just go for it. This version of it, let's use found sounds. If we have a little time, we'll do another version with instruments. And go ahead and come off mute and make sure your original sound is on. right. Before we do talk back, let's immediately switch over and do one more round of this with instruments. Let's make it like 2 minutes long, so we'll kind of cruise through it, but I'd love to just do it while we're sort of in a flow. Cool. Any thoughts? Grace, we can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go.
I had to lower my microphone for the oboe.
Oh.
So it was just cool to see what kind of objects that we use at the very beginning. And I think all of us most of us had some sort of like a shaker at the beginning.
Yeah.
So just kind of nice to like respond to what other person was doing, shaking, but different sounds, because we all had a different object. So mine was this little mini NMM chocolates in the little tin.
That's adorable. Grace always has something adorable on her desk. Other thoughts? Yeah, go ahead, Kelsey.
It was cool how the sounds were all different, but I felt like rhythmically there was a lot of dialogue, which I could tell from time to time. So it was kind of nice to be able to pick that out amongst a lot of extra sounds. Just cool.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun doing them back to back too, just to see like where your brain would go. I think that I would have played very differently, excuse me, if we had just done like instrumentals right out of the gate, personally. Any other closing thoughts? All right. Well, we will be back with you all again next Tuesday at 9:30 again on YouTube, and it's so fun to be back into deep listening practice with you all, and we look forward to a fall that gives us this opportunity to do this again. We really missed it pretty much immediately after we went on hiatus for a little while over the summer. So thank you for joining us. And if anybody out in Facebook or YouTube would like to join us as panelists, please feel free to do so. Get in touch with Fifth House Ensemble directly. There we can send you the link to be a panelist as well. Thank you, and have a good couple days.